Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Last night was a pretty rough night because I knew I was going to wake up and be recording this video today. Today marks my 7th video. I just thought that because 7 is my brother's favorite number, that it was a good time to start talking about him. No, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this video, but I want to be able to tell the good things about him in my future videos, and I can't do that without the fact that he's not here. I think that it was one of the best things in the world to just be born and have my best friend already there, like 2 years older than me, and we're just there like ready to take on the world. We were always like super close. In middle school, when we had to walk in lines in the hallway, we would like come out of our lines and give each other a high five or give each other a hug in the middle of the hallway, and our teachers would be looking at us like, get back into line. And we really tried to be good students, so to have our teachers kind of scold us was a little bit interesting and a little bit frightening, but we still did it anyway. We were absolute best friends. I would tell him everything. Like, no filter, just lay it on him, and he would be so supportive all the time, so understanding. He would tell me a lot of stuff too. I don't know if he told me everything, but it really felt like he did, and we were just really, really close. In 2009, it actually snowed that winter. Actually snowed enough to go sledding for like 1 or 2 of the days. So Dad got these sleds and we went sledding down this hill, and there happened to be like a post sticking up that you couldn't really see because of the snow and, you know, the terrain and the foliage that was growing up. We couldn't see that post, and we're going down in the sled, and Craig's knee's kind of like hanging out the sled a little bit, so the post hits his knee. We thought he was fine. He went sledding a few more times, and then after a while he was like, you know, it hurts. And so we went home, we iced it, and we just kept doing that for a few days, and then it started swelling more. And so we took him to the doctor, and the doctor said, you know, it's nothing, it just needs some icy hot, so we were treating it with that. It wasn't getting any better. It was getting worse. His limp was getting worse. The pain was getting worse. So Mom took him to the hospital, and this was a day when I was in school. I remember finding out in the car, Mom saying the doctor did a scan and they found out that he has cancer. I had never heard of it before. It was so scary to me because the word sounds bad, and the fact that you know nothing about it is even worse. We were, as a family, so scared, like we didn't know what the next step was. So we did some research, and our family has always been more of like natural remedy type people. When we can, we found this therapy called the Gerson therapy, and there are people who have done it and it's worked for them. And we were planning to like send him to Mexico. Then, because he wasn't 18 when he was diagnosed, our doctors basically said, if you don't give him chemotherapy, there's gonna be legal action taken. We were forced pretty much to like give him chemotherapy. So we started chemotherapy on the side. Like, Mom is trying to do some things to like help his immune system stay built up. We're doing everything that we can possibly do. I don't think there's anything out there that we have that we didn't like try. Like, we did everything we could short of like putting him on the Gerson therapy itself, because we couldn't send him. Once he started chemo, his spirits were lower because he was bald, you know, and people think that it's just women who have a problem when they lose their hair. It's not. Like, hair is a big deal to a lot of people, and so when he lost his hair, it was a big deal to him too, even though he was joking about it and trying to make us feel fine. We all knew that he wasn't, but that's just the type of person he was. He could be hurting inside and try to still be cheering you up. It went on for like years. There were ups, there were downs. Sometimes he looked great, sometimes he didn't. Throughout the whole thing, there was no doubt, like 0% doubt in my mind that he was going to make it. I remember sitting in the car with my mom, and she's telling me how much she's worried about him and saying she doesn't know what she would do if he doesn't make it. And I was like, Mom, look at me. He's strong. He's going to make it. There's no way he's not going to make it. If I could go back, I wouldn't have said that to my mom, because after that, every time she broke down, I partially felt like it was my fault, more than partially actually. One of the things that really pissed me off during this time, one of our friends that we had known since elementary school, she starts text messaging my brother, and she says, "I just want to spend some time with you before I can't anymore." And he was like, "What do you mean?" She basically told him that she wants to spend more time with him before he dies. Why? Why would you say something like that? And she wasn't the only one. Somebody literally asked him at school, "Are you going to die?" At that point, he felt like other people were starting to lose hope. Other than me, my brother had two best friends, two guy friends. One of them moved to Florida a while before this, and one of them actually ended up living with him for a little while. And I was happy for that because after 2009, Craig didn't have a lot of normal, so for him being able to live with a friend for a while, I think that it really helped him. But there was an issue with that because after he left this friend, he just completely shut him out, and so did his whole family, and didn't tell him why. My brother would ask him, like text him, ask him, call him, try to reach out to him. He would see him in the grocery store and say hey, like, the guy would completely ignore him and turn the other way and act like he didn't see him, and he clearly did. In 2013, like the beginning of 2013, he started really changing a lot, like his features. Throughout the course of this whole 2009 to 2013 period, he had done chemotherapy, he did 4 surgeries, radiation, and then he did chemotherapy again. 2013 came in, he looked like he was starting to give up. And it was scary to see him like that. At this time I had a job and I was going to school. I was in cross country. I think I tried to make myself busy because I didn't want to lose hope, because I knew that he was losing hope. So I kind of avoided him a little until I spoke to my guidance counselor at school. She really helped me. After that, I went to his room every single night, and I would talk to him and we would laugh and we would watch like How I Met Your Mother or Chuck or something. I would sit on the floor because his bed wasn't big, it wasn't like a queen size bed or anything, and he would be like, "What are you doing on the floor? Like, come up and sit with me." So we'd like sit together in the bed and like watch these episodes and be laughing and try to forget like what was going on. And I still believed with all my heart that he was gonna make it. I was just scared. There was this tumor that started growing on his face. He had a tumor in his knee first, and then he had tumors in his lungs, and then he started growing, like in 2013, this tumor on his face, and it started just getting bigger to the point where it actually like was going into his eye, and it was huge. Sometimes he would say like kids looked at him like he was a monster, like he was different, and it hurt, so he didn't go out anymore. He just wanted to stay home. I remember one of his friends coming to visit him. I just knew that Craig wasn't happy. He was happy to see him, but he was embarrassed that he was seeing him in this way. I didn't even have to ask him, like I already knew because I could just look at him. That's the type of relationship we had. We could just look at each other and kind of tell what we're thinking. And every time any of his friends asked me after that, like, "Can I come over? Can I see him?" I told them I'm sorry, but no. So many of his friends were angry. They thought that I was just doing this because of me and something that I wanted. But even the ones that I told, there's a tumor growing on his face and he is feeling very self-conscious about it and he doesn't want anyone to see him this way. I would tell them that and they would say, "I'm not gonna judge, I'm fine, it's me." And I'm like, "I know it's you, but he's not gonna see it that way." And they're like, "You know, can you at least tell him that we want to come over?" And I was like, I can't do that because he's going to feel pressured, and right now he doesn't need that. People just thought I was some horrible person. I was just trying to do what was best for him. And so finally I had had enough of it. Like one day after I got the same reaction from somebody I never thought I would get that reaction from, I just like went in and told him, like, all these people have wanted to see you and I have told them no. Am I doing something wrong? Like, is that okay? And he just hugged me and told me thank you so much, because he's felt a lot more relaxed that he doesn't have people seeing him that way. And that was the first time that he verbally let me know that he was kind of losing hope in the fact that he was going to make it, because he told me that day that he wants people to remember him how he was, not how he is now. And so he's happy that only one person has saw him since this tumor has started growing on his face and getting kind of big. And so from then on, telling people no was so much easier, because I knew that I was doing the right thing. I wasn't wondering in the back of my mind, maybe I was wrong, maybe I got the wrong feeling. That felt better to me, you know? The day that he passed away was such a weird day. And honestly, just saying weird because I can't think of another word right now. I was getting ready for school. My mom and dad were at the hospital, and the night before, mom had taken him to the hospital because he said he couldn't breathe properly. And this has happened before where he couldn't breathe properly and then he's been discharged and came right back home. But this time it was different and I had no idea. At this time, he was on hospice, so his bed was like a hospital bed at home. They were trying to like make him comfortable and stuff, and I still didn't believe that he was going, because he was like this miracle kid. Like, so many things turned out perfect for him, you know? Like, it was like you would see him running a race in track and he's behind and you think he's gonna lose, and then he just sprouts wings and like flies through the race and wins, and you're just like, how? And it was like everything in his life was like that. He's just naturally gifted, talented, smart, like the most intelligent guy. I mean, at like 2 years old, he was taking things apart and putting them back together. So even when they brought that hospice bed into the house, everything that they brought into the house, I still believed he was gonna make it. I still believed that we're just a little bit behind in the lap and at any moment he's gonna sprout his wings and just beat this thing, you know? So that day I'm getting ready and my mom calls. She is not going to be able to pick us up, so a family friend is gonna pick us up and take us to school. An hour later, I'm in the shower at this time. My sister says, "Mom wants to talk to you." And I was like, "I'm in the shower. Can you like ask her what she, you know?" And she's like, "No, she said she really needs to talk to you." So I stop the shower and I grab the phone and I'm like, "Hello?" I don't hear anything. And I'm like, "Mom?" And I hear a sniffle. Goosebumps just started raising on my skin. My heart's like pounding so fast I can't. And I'm like, "Mom, what's going on?" She's like, the doctor says that Craig's only got 4 hours to live." I don't even know how I was able to like get out the shower and put my clothes on. I don't remember anything after that except for like, I don't remember anything until I got to the hospital. I was pissed when I got there because I remember that he went to the hospital because he couldn't breathe properly, and so he wasn't talking very well either because he wasn't getting a lot of air in. And I walk onto his floor of the hospital and I'm probably like 6 doors down from his room. I just hear him in the loudest voice he can say, "Kelsey," like over and over. It was just like, how long has he been calling me? How long has he been doing that? He wanted me to be there from the night before and just went and like sat with him and held his hand and hugged him. This is how much I believed that he was gonna make it. As soon as I saw him, I was just thinking in my head, like, that doctor has no idea what he's talking about. He's gonna make it, you know? And then something happened and the doctor had to change his sheet and he had to get up out of the bed. He couldn't support himself, so had him like leaning on me, and for the first time I realized how light he was. It was so scary. He goes back and sits on the bed and he's like, talk to me, like, tell me something, tell me anything, you know? And so I'm just sitting there thinking of anything I can possibly think about, thinking of the funniest thing in my head, and I'm like the corniest chick, so I'm just telling him the most random stupid thing I can think of. I can't even remember what I told him. He started laughing, and then I got scared because he's laughing and he's not supposed to be using his breath as much. While I was talking to him, the nurse came in to put something in his drip, and she brings in this big bag. I never saw them hook him up to like any type of fluid, so I was really scared, and I was like, what is that? What are you giving him? And she says some name, and I was like, what does that do? She says, you know, because he's not able to eat right now, it's going to settle his stomach so that he doesn't have as much stomach acid and pain and discomfort. Mom and Dad came in from talking to the doctor. By this time, like, all of my siblings are in the room, and one of our family friends are in the room. We're all just sitting in there talking, and Mom pulls me aside and she tells me what the doctors told her. But I'm still, like, not letting anyone get me down. I mean, he's laughing, he's smiling, even though he doesn't look like him or weigh the same amount, you know, he's still him, and I'm in complete denial here that what's happening is actually happening. So some hours go by, and we haven't eaten breakfast. We kind of just rushed over. It's like in the afternoon now. Like, Dad's like, okay, Kelsey, you and Mom go and get something for everyone to eat. Craig looks more lively at this time. He's had a nap and he wakes up and he's looking a lot better. I feel comfortable going down to the, like, food court for a little bit to go and get something. Mom and I head out and we go into the elevator, and as soon as we get into the elevator, we hear a code blue, and the room is Craig's room. The elevator has closed and kind of has already, like, descending a little bit, so we, like, go back up as fast as we can, and we just see everyone who was in the room being forced out of the room. People are running in there. There's just chaos everywhere, and I'm just freaking out. Like, it's just like the world stops, and I kind of like fell on the ground, and my family friend's mom picks me up and she's like, come on, you gotta pull it together. We walk into another room and I realize that my two younger sisters and my younger brother is there. My little brother is 10 years younger than me. My younger sister, 4.5 years younger than me, and then our youngest sister, 2 years younger than her. And I look at them and they are so scared, and I'm like, yeah, I have to pull it together for them. I still don't really know what's going on, but I'm just holding them, and for the first time, instead of saying it's gonna be okay, I just don't say anything. I just hold them because I don't know anything anymore. It turns out that they were resuscitating Craig, and so we all go back into the room and they say that it's time for us to, like, say goodbye. And at this time, my aunt and uncle and grandma have come from New Jersey. They were, like, on their way that morning, but they just came at that time. So we all go back in the room, and we're all, like, taking turns saying goodbye. And it's the hardest thing that I've ever done. He's not talking, he's not moving, his eyes are just open, and they're telling you he can hear you, but you really don't know. It's almost my turn, and I'm thinking, like, what am I gonna say? What do you say? I just told him the story about when we were little, and I used to call him my best friend because I couldn't say the word best, and it would annoy him so much because he would be around some other people and it was embarrassing for him, like little sister who's like 4 or 5 years old. Hi, this is Craig, he's my best friend. And I basically told him that story kind of like you remembered when, in that kind of way, and then told him you're always gonna be my best friend. And that was kind of it. Like, after we said goodbye, they like told us what's gonna happen next and that they didn't want us to be around to see it, so we just had to like leave him there. I really can't remember the timeline of everything, but at some point like a whole bunch of people from church
ended up at the hospital, like in the waiting room, and my guidance counselor, she was there. And I remember being so happy to see her. She was like an angel. I texted her when it was happening and I asked her to come and she came. I see her and I immediately feel like a little bit calm. She's just Craig and I love her so much. And there's this other lady from church that's there. She's talking to me and she's saying, I know what you're feeling, I know you're going through, I know you're probably feeling this and that, and your mom is going through this and you need to... My guidance counselor just shuts her down and says, Kelsey's got this, she's got this. And I remember her putting up her hand like, Kelsey's got this, she's got this. And I really didn't have it. But that was her really nice way of saying, like, shut up, she doesn't need this right now. And that is something I will never forget. Like, I will never forget that woman because she's just amazing. I can't even put into a video the amount of things that she's done for my brother and I. And not just us, but our entire family. So we stay in the waiting room for a little while, talking to the people who are there, thanking them for coming. Then we decide it's time to leave. We all pray, like all of us, and then leave. We've all like forgotten where our cars are at this point. We kind of walking around the parking lot till we figure it out and get in the car and drive home. And we're all at home just sitting there kind of all in our own days of like reality and disbelief and just so many things that I can't even explain. And I was supposed to go to work this day. And out of everything in the day, like nothing has gone how it's supposed to go at all. And so I go to work because I just need something to feel normal. I stayed strong and I got through the whole work day. And then I took 2 weeks off of work. I took 2 weeks off of school. And I just tried to, I don't even know what I tried to do, but I tried to do something. And it really didn't work. I really didn't feel any better. I just kind of immersed myself in the funeral preparation, letting people know the details of the funeral and the burial and choosing things and helping with things and writing the eulogy, practicing the eulogy. I tried to like do anything that I could to take my mind off of it, but everything that was around me, reminder of everything that happened. I was trying to stay so strong for everyone. I just saw everyone around me breaking down. I was strong for my siblings and my mom. I felt like I really owed that to her because I led her to believe that this could never have happened. His best friend flew in from Florida and stayed with us for a few days and came to the funeral and helped us with everything, and that was a huge relief. We somehow got through everything. That same friend that I was talking about earlier that completely shut my brother out, he and his entire family showed up at the funeral, and it was the weirdest thing to see them. So many weird things happened, and honestly, all I was left with was hate. Hate for God allowing this to happen, hate at that friend who allowed him to die not knowing, and I don't even believe that he did anything wrong. Hate for the girl who told him he was going to die, hate for the girl who asked him if he was going to die, hate for the girlfriend that decided that she couldn't be with him anymore because she was gay. The kid who took the hat off of him after his chemo treatment and ran around with it and was playing around. I hated him. People who didn't even deserve the hate, I hated. I just immersed myself in anger and hate, and I was quiet and I couldn't find myself. I was just buried so deep under this thick layer of hate and anger. For me, this was a huge deal because never hated anyone, never was really angry at anyone before this day. Everything changed that day. I was in a lot of denial and disbelief. I have never had anyone in my life die before, so I'm trying to grasp the concept of death, and I just couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that a person like that doesn't live to be 20 years old. I just couldn't understand it. I have always been a different person since that day in 2013 when my brother passed away. April of 2013. This has affected me in such a way that sometimes I'll be in the car and I'll just be driving, and for some reason the funeral starts playing in my head. And then I see the funeral of my family members that are still alive, and I'm terrified. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why am I seeing this? And I'm just hitting my head like, stop, stop, please stop. It happens, and I hate it. I hate myself for thinking it. I think that I've turned from this innocent person into this dark person, but I can't help it.
Sometimes it's easier to just believe that he's here and he's in college somewhere, or he's moved to Japan like he wanted to. We just lost touch or something. I remember being in North Carolina that summer, and we were going to all of the beaches that were close enough by, and I'm so thankful to our teacher, one of Craig and I's favorite teachers. She loaned us her beach house for as long as we needed it. She said she gave us the key, and she was like, as long as you need it. When she left her beach house for us, she sends us a letter, and she says, "Dear Garvey family, welcome to our little corner of paradise. Hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Feel free to explore. All beds have fresh sheets and all towels are clean. I'm leaving some introduction on how to operate the appliances, as well as a few maps of where things are. Our neighbor," and she leaves the address, "is a wonderful friend. Here's her phone number in case you need her. I left a few presents for the kids in their bedroom, for the beach, and inside the house for a rainy day. Also left a bunch of beach towels on the bed. Enjoy your vacation. Love and peace." While we were down there, same family friend that was at the hospital, he was actually visiting relatives at the time, and so I was like, hey, maybe we can, get together, go to the beach together. And he's like, oh, that's cool, yeah. So we go to the beach. We're not talking or anything, we're just jumping waves together. For the first time, the voices in my head are actually quiet. I didn't realize how far away from the shore I was getting, and before I knew it, I couldn't touch the ground. I can swim, but I can't swim that well. With the waves coming, I'm choking. The waves are just coming at the worst time. Every time I come back up, another wave hits me. At one point, I'm just like, this is it. I'm not gonna make it. And the scariest thing for me is the fact that I actually took comfort in the fact that I could possibly die at this point. And then I heard my friend say my name, and he's over to the left of me, also struggling and choking. As soon as I heard that, I was just like, you idiot, what are you doing? Do you think that your family can lose you too? Do you think that your friend who sat through this all with you will not feel guilty for the rest of his life if he survives and you don't? I mean, you can't do this. You can't go out this way. And immediately I start to fight again. And as soon as I do that, a hand grabs me, and it's this guy. Just this guy who's swimming. He just grabs me, and we both end up making it back to the beach. And there's my mom panicking, freaking out. And I hated myself for thinking what I thought for even a split second that I thought it. That's another regret that I have. But I'm glad that it wasn't too late, There were times that we were laughing, times that we were smiling, and then times that we would feel guilty about laughing and smiling because the wound is so fresh, it's so new. And I remembered something my guidance counselor said, which is, don't let people tell you how you're supposed to feel. Don't let anyone tell you you're supposed to be sad, you're supposed to be happy. Don't let a year go by and let people tell you that you shouldn't feel sad anymore. It happened a year ago. Every time that day comes, you're gonna wake up and feel like someone punched you in the gut. And she was totally right. Even though it's been 5 years since his passing, the pain is still fresh. When I think about it, it brings me to tears every time without fail. There are some days that it hurts more than others. Things like getting married, that was hard because he should have been there. I hate the fact that my kids are growing up and they don't have him around. He would have been the greatest uncle, dad, anything, hands down, and he didn't get that opportunity yet. I have clothes that are his. I wear them all the time to bed. It helps me to feel closer to him, but at the same time, I don't wear them as much as I'd like to because I'm afraid that the more I wash them, the more worn they're gonna get, and then I won't have them anymore at some point, and that scares me. I try really hard to stay as close to the person that I was when he was here, so that when I see him again, he still recognizes me, but I've already changed so much. Now, though, that it has been a few years, it is a lot easier to just think of the happy moments and laugh about them, and that's something that I'm happy about. I think he would be happy about.
I would write raps and he would beatbox, and we would like perform them together in front of whoever would listen, or mom, dad, sometimes at school. There was this one rap that we rapped together, and nobody actually got it on film. Mom was there, and I was like, Mom, how come you didn't get this? And she was like, the camera died. Of course the camera died. When he was battling cancer, I wrote him a song.
I never got to finish that song, and that bothered me, so when I found the unfinished song again, I threw it away. But I did keep a poem that I wrote about him in 2012, which is, my older brother Craig is awesome, different, cool. He takes on many accents while he's reading things in school. His facial hair says otherwise, but he is a young man. You always see him smiling, though you wonder how he can. Although he is indeed a bit above the average height, he's bigger 'cause his happiness displays an inner light. He likes to play the yo-yo unlike others that I know. Craig is my brother, and I'll never let him go. This is a song that I wrote for him afterwards, and it helped me feel a little bit better about not finishing that song for him. That's called Tears Over Raindrops, and it's gonna be a little pitchy. All the pain deep inside's taking over. Got this weight in my throat like a boulder. Can't explain, but there's nothing that can make it better now. Can't help but allow the tears to fall, even though it doesn't help at all. Yesterday is the only thing that makes it better now. Yesterday you were in my arms. Yesterday we were laughing hard. Yesterday we were skating on and on and on and on and on. And yesterday we had all these plans. It was Jamaica, then Japan, as many road trips as we can, and on and on and on and on. And you were there for me when I needed you the most, and I was there for you when you called. You always did things first, now it's reversed, and I'm scared, and I'm missing you all day long. They say that life's unfair. I hate not having you here. I sometimes wish that it was me instead of you, but I won't wish this pain on anyone, so rest. 'Cause I'll take tears over raindrops, black over gold. I'll take knowing you over no pain at all. I'll take beanies and trios and angels with wings. I'll take orange and purple and all of the things that make you. All of the things that make you. My little song accomplice right here. I don't think that there's a better note to end that on, so I am just going to end the video now. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions that aren't going to bring me to tears, I would be very happy to answer them in the comments below, and if not, I would be very happy if you keep them to yourself. But if you are going through any type of grief and you have any questions, I would be really happy to help you with it, even if it does end up bringing me to tears.